My name is Jake. I'm 38 years old. I live in Columbus, Ohio, and I install hardwood flooring for a living. Been doing it since I was 20. I learned it from my uncle when I dropped out of college, and I built my own small company from scratch. I've got 3 guys who work with me. I still take calls personally, and I still get my hands dirty every week. I like the kind of work where you end the day sore and proud. My wife, Lena, used to say she admired that about me. She loved that I wasn't some suit and tie guy behind a desk. She'd tell people, Jake builds homes, not PowerPoints. That used to make me smile. Back then, I thought we had something solid. We met at a little brewery in the short north. She was bartending part-time while getting her degree in education. I was there with a buddy after finishing a job in Dublin. She served me a stout, made some sarcastic comment about my work boots, and I was hooked. We got married 3 years later, bought a modest 2-story home out in Grove City, and for a while, I thought we were building a life. We had the backyard she wanted, the fire pit, the porch swing. I worked long hours, but I was proud to give her a good home. I paid for her grad school, supported her when she couldn't find a decent teaching gig, and I never, not once, threw in her face. But something shifted about a year ago. I couldn't even tell you what the trigger was. It wasn't loud like a fight. It was subtle, quiet, like something invisible had crept into the room and sat between us on the couch. At first, I noticed she didn't laugh at my jokes anymore. I'd come home and tell her about something dumb one of my guys did at the job site, and she'd just stare at her phone, nod, and say cool. She used to grab my arm in bed, press her back into me. That stopped too. Now she curled up on the edge of the mattress like we were just roommates. She'd always say she was tired, that it was just a phase, that I was imagining things. So I gave it space. I figured maybe the stress of work was getting to her. She'd finally landed a permanent teaching position at a high school, and I know kids these days can be brutal. I didn't push. I just kept showing up, kept cooking dinner, kept paying the mortgage, fixing the busted garbage disposal, shoveling the driveway. All the things a husband's supposed to do. But no matter how much I gave, the silence between us got louder. The worst part? She stopped touching me altogether. No hugs when I got home. No kisses. No intimacy. Not even eye contact when I sat down beside her on the couch. Just TikToks, reality shows, and that damn do not disturb on her phone always turned on. I tried to talk to her. Once. I remember it clearly. We were in the kitchen. I had just come home late from a rainy job in Westerville. My hands were cracked, my boots soaked through, and I just wanted to be close to her. I leaned in and kissed her on the shoulder while she was making tea. She flinched like I was a stranger. And then she sighed. Not a sweet sigh. One of those ugh, not again kind of sighs. That night I said, Lena, can we talk? She didn't even turn around. She said, Jake, I just don't have the energy. I need space. And that was it. No blow-up. No screaming match. Just those 3 words, I need space. That was when something changed inside me. I didn't beg. I didn't ask follow-ups. I didn't cry. I just nodded, turned off the kitchen light, and went out to the garage. I sat in my truck and stared at the drywall for a full hour with the engine off. No music. No podcasts. Just quiet. I remember thinking, if I didn't come home tomorrow, would she even notice? After that night, I stopped trying to fix something that was already broken. But I didn't become bitter or rude. I became focused. Laser focused. I took on more jobs. Woke up at 5:30 every day. Went to the gym after work. Started eating clean. I bought myself a decent wardrobe. Not to impress her, but because I was tired of walking around feeling invisible. And little by little, I felt stronger. Quieter, but stronger. People noticed. My crew would say, You're looking sharper, boss. The woman at the supply store asked if I'd lost weight. Even my neighbor across the street, Jim, made a joke about how Jake's out here, making us all look bad. But Lena? Nothing. No compliment. No glance. No. Hey, you're looking good lately. Nothing. She'd walk past me in the kitchen like I was just another countertop. The only person in that house who seemed to actually see me was Ava, Lena's younger sister. Ava's a nurse, works night shifts at Mount Carmel. She'd stop by sometimes to drop off soup or check on Lena, especially when she was feeling overwhelmed with school stuff. Ava's always been sweet, but lately, there was something else. She looked at me longer, asked me how I was really doing. Once, she even said, "You don't look happy, Jake. And I know you're the kind of man who keeps that stuff bottled up." I didn't say much, just shrugged and smiled. But inside, I knew she wasn't wrong. It was weird, feeling more seen by my sister-in-law in 3 minutes than by my wife in 3 months. Still, I didn't cross any lines. I didn't flirt. I didn't vent. I kept things respectful. But I also started noticing. Ava cared. She noticed when I shaved. She laughed at my dumb job site stories. She even sat with me on the porch one day when I came home and Lena wasn't there. She said, "You know, Jake, if I ever find a guy like you, I'm not letting him feel alone in his own house." That one stuck with me. I remember nodding slowly, feeling this strange combination of guilt and validation. It made me realize how deep the emotional starvation had gotten. You can only pour into someone's cup for so long before you run dry. And I was dry, bone dry. But I didn't whine. I didn't beg. I just started preparing myself for something I hadn't wanted to admit until then. It was over. Even if we were still legally married, she was already gone. Checked out. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I wasn't going to stay and bleed for someone who didn't even notice when I was cut open. I was done trying to fix it alone. I didn't leave yet, but I was preparing. Quietly, like a man who knows he's about to walk away with his dignity intact. And what I didn't know then was that the final straw was coming soon, and it would change everything. Saturday afternoon. The kind that smells like grilled meat and fresh-cut grass. I'd set everything up myself. Pulled the folding tables from the garage, cleaned the grill top with a wire brush, iced the coolers, trimmed the hedges, swept the back patio, all before noon. I even ran to Meyer the night before to grab the good steaks and some fresh asparagus. I wanted it to be nice. Not for me. I honestly couldn't care less about birthday cakes or cheap party banners. But for Lena, her family was coming. A few of my guys, even her co-workers. I figured maybe, just maybe, we'd feel like a team again, even for a day. But I was wrong. I always pictured the end of my marriage as something dramatic. Yelling, someone packing bags, a slammed door, tears. I never imagined it'd happen like this. Quiet, public, cold as ice. By 4 p.m., the backyard was full of people. Laughter, cornhole games, kids chasing each other. Lena looked gorgeous, I'll admit that. She had her hair up in one of those effortless-looking buns, wearing a light blue summer dress that swayed with the wind. She was barefoot, holding a drink, chatting with her coworkers near the fire pit. From the outside, it looked like a perfect little suburban afternoon. But I could feel it in the air, that invisible distance between us. I'd glance at her every so often, and she'd never once look back. Not a smile, not a nod. She didn't come near the grill, didn't offer to help with drinks. Hell, she didn't even thank me for organizing it. I kept myself busy flipping burgers, making sure nobody's beer ran dry. That's something I'm good at, being useful when I feel unwanted. It gives my hand something to do when my heart's chewing through itself. I was halfway through grilling the second batch of burgers when I saw her across the yard, throwing her head back laughing. Not the polite kind of laugh, the big kind, the full-body kind. But it wasn't with me. It was with some guy from her school, Jason or Jordan, something like that. The younger guy with the stupid sunglasses and tight shirt. He leaned in way too close. She didn't pull away. My stomach turned a little, but I played it cool. Took a breath. Focused on the grill. Later, as the sun started dipping, I made her a plate, one of everything she liked. Steak cooked medium, grilled zucchini with lemon, her favorite kind of potato salad. I even sprinkled that garlic salt she always uses. I walked over, gently handed it to her with a quiet, "Here you go, babe." And in front of everyone, her friends, her sister, my co-workers, she looks at the plate like I just handed her roadkill and says loud enough for the whole circle to hear, "Jake, I don't even like you anymore. Just go away." Seriously, I froze. Not because I didn't expect rejection. I'd felt that for months, but because she said it like I was annoying her. Like I was a waiter who brought the wrong order. Like I didn't matter. Not just to her, but to anyone around us. For a second, nobody spoke. The guy next to her let out an awkward laugh. Someone cracked a beer in the background. I felt every pair of eyes burning a hole through my back. I didn't say a word. Didn't drop the plate. Didn't raise my voice. I just nodded once like message received, turned around, walked through the yard, and headed straight for the gate. That's who I am. I don't do scenes. I don't beg in front of strangers. If someone tells me I'm not wanted, I believe them. And I leave. As I reached the gate, I heard footsteps behind me. Fast ones. "Jake, wait," a voice said. It wasn't Lena. It was Ava. I turned just as she caught up to me. She looked nervous, but also angry. Not at me. At her. She looked me right in the eyes, and her voice didn't tremble when she said, "I'm going with you." I blinked. "What?" She grabbed her purse off the patio chair by the gate. "You heard me. I'm not staying here to watch her keep doing this to you. I watched for months, and I'm done being quiet." I didn't move, just stared at her. Part of me thought she was bluffing. But when she walked right past me to the truck and opened the passenger door, I realized she was serious. Everyone was still watching from the backyard. I could feel it, their heads tilted slightly, some phones probably already filming. And Lena? She stood still, arms crossed like she didn't care. But I saw it in her eyes, that flash of confusion, of panic. She hadn't expected me to walk away, and she definitely didn't expect her sister to go with me. I got in the truck. Ava was already buckled in. I started the engine. Backed out. We didn't speak for the first few blocks. Just the sound of the turn signal clicking and the engine humming. Finally, Ava broke the silence. "I can't believe she said that to you. In front of all those people. What the hell is wrong with her?" I glanced at her, still calm. It's not the first time. It's just the first time she didn't bother hiding it. She looked at me for a second, really looked. Then she said, "I want you to know something, Jake. You're not the problem. You've never been. You show up. You build. You care. You make people feel safe. She stopped appreciating you a long time ago. But I never did. I didn't say anything. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because sometimes silence is the loudest answer." We pulled into a gas station. I filled the tank while she ran inside and came back with 2 bottles of water and a pack of sunflower seeds. The kind I always keep in the glove compartment. "You remembered," I said, cracking one open. She smiled. "I noticed more than you think." It wasn't a romantic moment. It wasn't about sex or revenge or drama. It was something else. Something deeper. A shift. A realization that someone finally saw me again. Really saw me. And that someone had been watching quietly from the sidelines this whole time. That night, I didn't go back home. I dropped Ava off at her place. She hugged me. Not a long hug. Not a pity hug. A real one. She looked at me and said, "I'm proud of you." And for the first time in a long time, I felt proud of myself too. It's been 6 months since I walked out of my own backyard with Lena's sister in the passenger seat. 6 months since I set that plate of food down and her my wife. The woman I once built a life around publicly stripped me of all dignity with 10 careless words. 6 months since I decided I wasn't going to beg for respect in my own damn house anymore. And in those 6 months, everything changed. Let me say this. Healing doesn't come with fireworks or dramatic music. It's not some montage of push-ups and motivational podcasts. It's quiet. It's subtle. It starts with small choices. I changed my phone number. That was the first thing. I didn't block Lena. I just made myself unavailable. No more late-night texts. No more half apologies. No more "we need to talk." If she wanted to talk, she'd have to send a damn letter. Then I canceled the shared accounts. Took my name off anything that wasn't mine. The mortgage? Paid it off and put the house on the market the next week. I worked my ass off for that place, but it wasn't home anymore. It was just drywall and silence. I moved into a smaller place. A simple single story with a garage I actually use. No fancy furniture. No color-coded throw pillows. Just me, a grill out back, and a damn good mattress I bought for myself for the first time in years. And Ava? She didn't just tag along that day and disappear. She became a fixture in my life. Slowly, quietly, without trying to fill a role. She didn't push anything romantic. She didn't try to be some rebound. She just started showing up. She'd swing by after her shift with takeout or a bottle of wine. She'd ask about my day and actually listen, not nod through it while scrolling her phone. Sometimes we'd just sit on the porch and talk for hours. No expectations. Just comfort. The first time she stayed over, it wasn't even planned. She had come by after working the night shift, completely exhausted, and ended up falling asleep on my couch. I brought her a blanket. Didn't touch her. Didn't even sit close. Just let her rest. That's what she needed. She told me later that no man had ever made her feel that safe before. That's when I knew. This wasn't just me healing. We were both rebuilding. Together. Meanwhile, Lena started unraveling. It began with the texts. First from unknown numbers. Jake, please. We need to talk. Then came the voicemails. You didn't even give me a chance to explain. What you did with Ava, it was low. I was just frustrated that day. You humiliated me. The irony of that voicemail still makes me shake my head. I never answered. Not once. Because I'd already said everything I needed to when I walked away. Silence is powerful when you've earned it. And the thing about people like Lena, they can only ignore you when they're convinced you'll never leave. The moment you're gone, really gone, their reality crumbles. Her sister going with me that day, that shattered the illusion she'd built. That she was the center of everyone's orbit. That people would always choose her, no matter how she treated them. I didn't rub anything in. I never posted pictures. Never bragged about Ava. But word got around. Small city. People talk. I started getting looks at the grocery store. Some of her friends would avoid eye contact. Others actually came up to me. One of them, I think her name was Cassie, stopped me in the frozen food aisle and said, "You didn't deserve any of that, Jake. And Lena's been a mess since you left." Honestly, I think she thought you'd crawl back. I just smiled and said, yeah, I think that's what she counted on. And Ava? She never gloated. Never said, "I told you so." She was just there, steady, feminine, nurturing. Everything Lena had stopped being years ago. We started doing small things together. Farmers markets. Hiking on the weekends. One night, we went to a little jazz bar, and Ava wore this emerald dress that stopped time. I remember thinking, I don't even miss what I had before. This is peace. One night, about 3 months after the barbecue, Ava sat across from me at my place, legs tucked under her, glass of wine in hand, and she asked, "Do you think she regrets it?" I didn't even pause. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's the difference between guilt and change. Guilt makes people reach out when they miss your presence. But change? That only happens when they recognize your value. And Lena never did. Not when it counted. She tried one last stunt. I heard through Ava, from a mutual cousin, that Lena had tried to stir up drama in the family. Said I stole her sister. That I was always into Ava. That I orchestrated everything. It didn't work. Because people saw the truth. They saw me go quiet. They saw her go cold. They saw Ava step up. And they chose to respect the man who walked away with grace, not the woman who destroyed what she didn't value. A few weeks ago, Ava and I took a weekend trip to Asheville. Stayed in a cabin, no phones, no distractions. Just us. She made pancakes in the mornings. We sat in rocking chairs at sunset. And for the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. She looked at me one night while we were watching the fire crackle and said, "You've changed. You're lighter now, but stronger too." And she was right. I had changed. Not because of her. Not because of Lena. But because I finally chose myself. I stopped begging to be loved by someone who resented me. I stopped pouring my effort into a cup that had holes in the bottom. I stopped trying to fix a home where I was treated like a burden instead of a man. I became someone who listens more, talks less, works harder than ever, but only for those who actually appreciate it. Now, Lena probably still thinks about that day. She probably wonders how the hell she lost not only her husband, but her sister too. And me? I don't even look back. I've got real peace now. And let me tell you, peace is louder than revenge. Because the greatest revenge isn't making someone cry. It's making them realize they never deserved you in the first place.